This is going to be hard. Good morning. Wow. This is really exciting to see so many people with us this morning. Art of conversation, giving students a voice at the table. So I am Dr. Lily Hibbler. I am the lead program chair for the School of Business for the East Coast for the University of Phoenix. And what that entails is that all of the faculty, both at the local campus and online for the School of Business, and I always just, the easiest way for me to describe my territory is from Maine to Miami over to Chicago. All of those faculty kind of report up under me, but I am actually located at the Jersey City campus right here. So it gives me a great pleasure to be out here this morning. And I'm extremely happy because this is the first time probably outside of the University of Phoenix, right? That you and I have presented together. Yeah.
You were here last year.
I was here last year by myself.
Yes.
And this year I brought my trouble.
That's right. I remember seeing you here last year.
Yes. So she told me how much fun she had last year. So I decided, you know what, I think I'll just tag along this year and see what I can stir up some trouble up in here.
Tag along is not exactly the right term for her. But I'm Dr. Miriam Frollo. I'm the Director of Academic Affairs at the Jersey City campus. And I'm responsible for the academic programs for New Jersey. So I oversee and work with the faculty, I work with the students, I work with the colleges on making sure that our students online and on campus, regardless of what program they're in, whether it's business or healthcare, education, criminal justice, etc., that they have the services and the resources that they need to be successful. And what we're going to do today is show you how you can take one of our fun activities that we do with our students who are working adults. At the campus, they are undergraduate students who are probably very similar in population to what you see in your classes. Students who really want to succeed, who really want to pull themselves up by their bootstraps and change their lives and have a career, oftentimes in an area that they never knew was possible, right? Right. And oftentimes we tell our students, you have to learn to network. You have to learn how to get out there. You have to learn to talk to people about different topics that you might not realize you know about. So what we designed is the art of, is our mock dinner party, which is helping them practice the art of conversation in a fun way. So our agenda, as any good instructor, we always have an agenda, right? I'm sorry, I do use PowerPoints, but and these will be available for you later. What is intellectual curiosity? Our dinner party idea. We're going to do a mock dinner party here, which is why you have some food on the table. And then afterwards, we're going to debrief. We're going to talk about the experience and talk about how we can take it back to our colleges and use it in any department, in any area of the university or the college, and make it work and make it fun for our students to practice what we know they need to do. Ready to get started? Okay. So, to get started, and to think about what our lives have been like, what our careers have gone, want everyone to go around the room and not tell us what they're doing now. Tell us what their major was in college. Okay? And then tell us what the current occupation is. My major in college was theater with a minor in business. And now I'm an academic administrator running academic programs in New Jersey for the University of Phoenix. That's the type of information that I want to have us share with each other. So we'll start over here at this corner and work our way around.
Hi everyone, good morning. My name is Jennifer Pena. My undergraduate major was criminal justice with a concentration in politics, and my current occupation, I am an EOF specialist. EOF stands for the Educational Opportunity Fund program.
Good morning.
New Jersey City University.
Good morning, my name is Barbara Ruggieri. My undergraduate major was elementary education, and I'm currently a social worker.
Morning, everybody. My name is Amir Malcolm. I study public administration doing undergrad at Kane University. I'm currently an academic advisor at Union County College.
Morning, everyone. My name is Wayne Reed. My undergrad was criminal justice at Rutgers University, and I'm currently an academic advisor at Union County College.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Sharon Sparks. My undergraduate major was psychology. Secondary major in English. Minor in biology. And my current occupation is an educational development specialist, student development specialist with the Educational Opportunity Fund Program at Union County College.
All good. Hi, good morning. My name is Miranda. I work at Camden County College. My undergraduate degree was in history and secondary education with concentrations in international studies. My current occupation is I'm a program supervisor for a program called Garden State Pathways, and I am an instructor in my program for students with developmental and intellectual disabilities.
Hello, my name is Nicole. My undergraduate major was human resources at Rutgers University, the minor in business, and I'm a guidance counselor at New Brunswick High School.
My name is Lester Mosea. My undergraduate major was psychology with a minor in health education, and now I'm a transfer advisor over at Union County College.
Hi everyone, I'm Gina Bedoya. My undergraduate major was Spanish literature at Rutgers University, and I'm a counselor here at Middlesex in the Department of Counseling Services.
My name is Rita Burton. My undergraduate was in history and in psychology, and here I am working as a counselor in the Department of Counseling at Middlesex College.
Good morning, my name is Patty Moran. I am, my undergraduate major was business education and computer science, back when computer science was just a new major. My current occupation is I am a student success professor here at the college, and I also am a consultant for various private and not-for-profit companies.
Hi everybody, my name is Denise Coulter. I, as an undergraduate, studied English at Georgian Court University, and I am currently employed as the Dean of Liberal Studies at Atlantic Cape Community College.
Hi, my name is Lance Hilfman. I double majored in speech and mass communications at Emerson College, and I'm an adjunct professor here in math, and please don't ask me how I did that.
But that's a classic example.
That's what,
I would like to talk to you.
Lance, that's what we wanted to hear. That's exactly what we wanted to hear, because our students need to hear that.
Bless you.
Okay, who at this table wants to start?
I'll start.
Okay.
Good morning, my name is Wendy Medina. My undergrad, I graduated from King University with a marketing major and minor in psychology. I currently work for Middlesex County College as a teacher for a grant-funded program through workforce development.
I'm Ronnie Power. My bachelor's was in psychology with an emphasis in child and family therapy and a minor in biblical and theological studies. I have my master's in human development counseling, and I work as a research technician in the Office of Institutional Research at County College of Morris.
Good morning, I'm Jenny Enriquez. My undergraduate was in psychology, minor in Spanish literature and culture, and I am currently a academic counselor for STEM students at Hudson County Community College.
My name is Shuba Valero. My undergraduate was in art and business. My master's was in education and administration, and I work with Department of Education as program specialist.
Okay, our last table.
My name is John Pepis. I majored in advertising, and I'm a teaching administrator at Warren County Community College.
Guess it's me, huh? Hi, my name is Adrienne Collington. My bachelor's in business administration at Falwell College, and I'm an academic field advisor at Essex County College.
Good morning. Edison Berrio. I am a high school counselor in the Elizabeth School District. Hello, Union County. Everyone's here today. And undergraduate degree in psychology and other things.
And
last but not least, my name is Lily Hibbler. I have, my undergrad degree was in business, and I worked for the School of Business for the University of Phoenix. So I just kind of transitioned from corporate to higher education, which I had no idea I would ever go into higher education. But if you listened to all of the descriptions that you heard, a lot of us went into majors. You know, we were fresh out of high school, someone had told us something, or we heard something, or we thought it was glamorous. We were like, we're going into this profession and we're gonna major in this. And we got out of it, and we said, maybe there's something else I want to do with my life. Maybe, you know, we started to talk to people. We started to research. We started to learn. And we realized that the skills that we learned in college could be what? Transitioned over to another career. And that's what we need our students to recognize, is that just because, and look, I have the world's worst child in college. I don't know what anybody else has, but my daughter is a senior in college, and every single day she calls me and says, I don't want to be a teacher. I said, but you've gone 4 years in education. You're going to do something. And she's confused because she's hearing all these other occupations, all these other jobs out there. And her friends are graduating, and they're getting these really, what she thinks is glamorous positions. So she's confused. And so I told her, I said, listen, just because you're majoring in education doesn't mean you have to stay in education. You can always transition, but you gotta have the skills to make that transition. And one of the key skills that our students need to have is the art of conversation. And they need to be able to develop intellectual curiosity. That's what makes the difference. You may have all the book knowledge in the world, but if you can't articulate well with other people, you're going to have a problem selling yourself. Am I right or wrong? I picked up this while you guys were talking. I think this is one of the, this is good and bad. Why is it good?
It's a whole library, right?
Yeah.
It's a research tool.
Have anybody seen that commercial by Common when he's standing on the stage and he says, you have more information in the palm of your hand than we had growing up, and he's going through this litany, and it's so true. John, you're absolutely right. This is everything. But why is it bad? Distraction. And what else is happening?
We don't know how to communicate.
We don't know how to communicate anymore. You know, we sit at the dinner table, and I'm not saying you, I'm just saying collectively, we'll sit at the dinner table, and we will all be on our phones. I remember traveling from New Jersey to South Carolina, because that's where I'm originally from, and I have a niece that's only 7 years younger than I. And, you know, I don't see them very often because I don't go home as often as I used to. And we saw each other, we hugged each other. Oh, I miss you. You know, we got to catch up and everything. And 5 minutes later, we were both sitting on the couch, right by each other, playing what?
Words with friends?
Candy Crush. Candy Crush. We weren't even talking. I hadn't seen her in like 6 months. I missed her. I loved her. But the conversation was gone. The art of communication was dying. And I talk about this thing, and I'm the biggest culprit. And by the way, there is a research article out there about how Candy Crush has destroyed our lives. Seriously. I'm on level 1,287. Yes. She's still playing. You know what that means? I have devoted too many hours of my life to Candy Crush. There's so many other things you can be doing besides playing that. Yeah, we're friends. I thought I was the bad one, you were the good one. Okay. So, education. We're all in education, right? Let me go back. I don't want to give you guys answers. Why are we in education? What do we hope to accomplish? What do we want for our students?
Change lives.
We want to change lives. What else?
Serve others.
Serve others. Miranda, what did you?
I was gonna say impact the lives of other people.
Impact the lives of other people. And when we're teaching our students, what do we hope they get?
Inspired.
Inspired.
Motivated.
Motivated. We want them to become open-minded. We want them to be attentive. Develop intellectual carefulness, intellectual courage, intellectual rigor. And I like that one at the bottom. Intellectual honesty. Man, honesty seems to be one of those words we don't hear a lot about these days, do we? I'm not saying anything. You never know. But honesty seems, and ethics seem to like go out the window these days because there's so many things that we hear on the news constantly, right?
Integrity, very important.
Yeah, integrity. That's the word for, you know, they come out with all these new words every year. They need to just come out with words that we need to start using again. Yeah, so that. So what we also hope to do is we want to bring the world into the classroom, don't we? How many of you, when you were in undergrad or graduate school, loved the professor that lectured the entire time?
I love that honest answer.
Yeah. Now, who was the instructor you loved the most? That got you coming to class? The one that brought the world into the classroom, right?
Yeah.
The one that had you engaged in talking. The ones that you read something or they heard something and they was like, did you hear on the news where they're now incorporating, that there was an executive order where if you're getting welfare, you're now going to have to work. How many people heard that?
That one. Yeah.
Yeah, it was recently signed, executive order. And then they walk around the class and say, what does that mean to you? What does that mean to the economy? How does that impact the labor market? Job demand. And you're sitting there going, oh wow, I really need to read that. Oh wow, this is important. Why didn't I see that? Why didn't I know that? And your mind starts to click. Well, that's the same thing we want for our students, right? We want instructors that have the students so engaged that their mind starts to click, but click in the right way. And that's what happens when we bring the art of conversation into the classroom. It gives our students permission to ask questions and to be engaged in the conversation. And when they do that in the classroom, it transfers over into the business world, into their work lives. They become risk takers. They become those persons that their employees know they can go to because they are out there seeking knowledge so that they can articulate information. So, the Dr.
Van Horn.
Thank you. See, she finishes by sentences.
We've been working together way too long.
Sometimes it's good, and sometimes it's not good. But usually it's very good because, you know, the mind is the first thing to go. And the mind is gone. He was talking about skills needed in the workplace. What were some of the skills he mentioned?
Work-based learning.
Work-based learning.
Critical thinking.
Critical thinking.
Basic skills.
Basic skills.
You also talk about personal qualities.
That's right. So, same thing. Same thing according to the Chronicle of Higher Education. So there are no new skills out there. What did he tell us we need to do?
We need to incorporate them
Yeah, don't
into
reinvent the wheel.
learning experiences for our students.
Right. There's no need to invent new skills. We just have to learn how to incorporate those skills into the learning experience for our students. We have to make that incorporation very interesting. We have to make it fun because like you and like them, I hate being bored. My attention span is about this long when you start just trying to lecture to me without having some type of interaction. And Miriam knows me very well. She'll tell you. So the art of conversation will help to develop some of the skills that employers are seeking in our college graduates. It's very simple. We need to teach them how to communicate again. But there's a trick to it. So, anybody, you know, quite a few had liberal arts undergrad majors, but there's a reason for liberal arts. And there were people who were saying, we don't need liberal arts anymore. They just want somebody who has a certification. They want somebody with the technical skills. But the liberal arts teach us about the world, about humans, about how to interact, how to appreciate diversity, how to appreciate culture, and how to articulate those things. So I'm not going to read those because the slides are going to be available
After the conference.
after the conference. Sage, you got my back. So answer these questions for me. What holds your interest when interacting with someone? When you're talking to someone, what keeps you interested in the conversation?
Meaningful conversation.
Meaningful conversation.
That they're actually listening, it's not a one-way conversation.
Yes. Eye contact.
No, I was gonna say like body language too.
Body language. What else?
Topics we have in common.
Topics that you have in common. Isn't it amazing to be talking to
But even if they are someone you disagree with, it's mutual respect.
Yeah.
Understand? I mean, we have to be careful, we associate with people we agree with, but we also have to associate with people we disagree with on a respectful level.
That's right, because that's how we grow. I always tell my kids, if the world was made up of all persons just like me, identical to me, hey. Hey!
My filters don't work sometimes.
But you're right.
I had to go to myself. How about that? That's what I meant.
You're absolutely right. I would be bored. All this awesomeness, I would be bored.
Be like, everybody thinks like me.
But what else? What do we look for when we're talking to someone?
And that reinforces discourse, right? When we have discourse, we can discuss the subject and disagree about it without hating each other's guts.
Right. But what can be irritating about having a conversation with someone?
Not listening.
Not listening, and when they don't know what they're talking about. Have you ever had a conversation with somebody who didn't know what they were talking about? What did you say, Dwayne?
Talk to Barbara all the time.
Oh, that is just so annoying.
Okay.
And you're sitting there going, I can't wait to get away from this person.
But I have lunch with her, so it makes it hard.
So, you know, it's hard. You're gonna have to work on her. Yes, ma'am.
I was gonna say, you want to be able to learn things from other people. You want them
Right.
to be engaging and teach you things.
So let me ask this question, because I don't always, like my students find out, I don't always stick to the script. What do you think employers are looking for when they have a conversation with somebody who's interviewing?
Somebody who's challenging.
Somebody who's challenging?
Someone who's teachable. Sorry.
Teachable.
Yes. Teachable?
Someone who's genuine.
Someone who's genuine, I like that.
Somebody who's paying attention to your questions.
Engaged,
Right.
paying attention, engaged, and knowledgeable. Not just about the technical side, but knowledgeable, well-rounded.
Let me jump in with a little story of one of my students, not my student, but a student came up to me and said, I'm an IT student and I'm in a history class. Why do I have to learn about Abraham Lincoln? He never used a computer. And I looked at him and I said, he had to solve problems. He had to collaborate and influence others, work on solutions, and he had to communicate and find out different ways of communicating. Yeah, so? I said, if you're working on an IT project, are you doing it alone? No, I'm usually working with other people. Are you doing it in a vacuum? Is everything always working properly? No, we sometimes have to fix problems. And we were talking, he's like, oh. Learning a little bit about history and one of our presidents who was known for doing this might actually help me do the critical thinking and the problem solving and the communication I need to do in the IT program. And he's like, okay, so I guess I should pay better attention to my next class, which is political science. Yes, now you're going to be talking about American government, and if you're in IT, you may need to know how the American government works. And off you went. Open the mind. Right? Apply knowledge in different ways and you don't always expect to be able to use it.
So I'm going to ask one person, what is your impression when you have a good conversation with somebody?
I That you want to speak with them again.
You want to speak with them again. You want to be around them, right?
Mm-hmm.
So just think if our students interviewing for a job and they have a great conversation with their potential employer.
It's memorable.
It's memorable. And they're going to say, I think that person fits the culture. I think that's someone I want to have a conversation with again. I like that.
There's a saying I want to say real quick that
Sure.
I think applies to that. There's a saying that says, people will sometimes forget what you say, but they will never forget how you make them feel.
Yeah.
Right.
That's
Right.
true.
Yeah,
That's true.
I don't know who came up with it, but I feel like I do agree with that sometimes.
So in an interview situation, if my conversation makes me feel good, you make me feel good, and I feel like I made you feel good, that we can work together.
Yeah.
There's a greater chance that I, as an employer, might say, I'll hire you. I'll give you a try, I'll train you and give you that technical knowledge you may need. But you have that conversation, you have that personality and that openness.
We just had a young lady who worked at the campus, interviewed for a job, and she came back and she told me, she said, it was a really good interview. I said, how do you know? She said, we connected. We had a good conversation.
Right.
She said, I was there 3 hours and it was only supposed to be an hour-long interview. She said, but after the interview, I was just sitting down talking with other people and we had similar interests and we were able to talk about things. And then a week later, she told me, she said, I got the job. And she had been interviewing for almost a year and had become discouraged. But she found that conversation, she found her voice. And there's a lot more, but I have to remember that we only have another 30 minutes.
Yeah, so-
So I'm going to, these all be on,
Website.
on the website. And so the one thing I wanted to talk a little bit about was intellectual curiosity. I had the privilege to speak at the ACBSP, which is the Accrediting Council for Business Schools and Programs International Conference in Cancun, Mexico, on this particular topic of intellectual curiosity. It is the ability to question, challenge, and look at an issue from multiple sides, to show interest, to really kind of look at the world from a different perspective and not just become so, kind of one-sided and judgmental. So the art of conversation really is about developing intellectual curiosity in our students and helping them to be able to articulate information when they're having a conversation. Yes, sir?
Before I taught math, I taught K-12, and I taught theater, speech, and communications, and debate. And I'd have my students tell me what they thought of a certain topic, but they would have to choose the other side of the debate.
Yes,
So they would be able to develop, they had to do the research, and I said, it's not about opinions, you have to support your opinions.
That's right.
But if you don't agree with this, you need to do more work to figure it out. And they were so well-rounded when they graduated, it was incredible.
So they're deliberate, craft, well-reasoned arguments. Exactly what you said, Lance. Well-reasoned. And you don't get that way if you have a closed mind. You have to be curious about the world, because it's going to come in and it's going to serve you well. When I did my undergraduate major in business, guess what my minor was? Art history. And no one understood why I would combine those two. But my father, who never went to school at all, told me what to minor in. He said, because I would need to have conversations with people. And I would have to know that type of information.
So, okay, so, you ready to have some fun? Are you hungry?
They are eating.
Okay, so,
I might have to-
a dinner party, if you're having a dinner party, who attends? Who do you invite to a dinner party?
Friends.
Friends. Family, okay. And you serve different kinds of food, maybe food that's, part of your culture, or your geographic region, or you try new recipes. What do you tend to discuss around the table?
Current events. Current events.
Current events, politics,
Personal, like travel history.
travel history, sports, all different things, right? The conversation keeps going. So what do you think the mock dinner party is?
Conversation.
Conversation. The idea of the mock dinner party is to create that feeling of a dinner party with your friends and your family for our students. So we're going to have a mock dinner party.
Would you mind giving it
5 people, perfect.
5 people, yeah, so there's
Just one to each table.
no, we give two to each table. So
Yeah, right.
you can see your tables. So we have come up with the topics that we want you to talk about. That doesn't always happen. But there's a variety of topics in here. All the topics you talked about, they're here. The idea is that you have to pick someone who's going to be the leader to ask the question and make sure the conversation goes.
It'll be the leader here.
About every 3 minutes, at the most, every 3 minutes you need to change topics. So don't spend all the time on one topic.
Pink and yellow, I guess.
The colors are just because I had different colored cards.
Oh, okay.
I like to keep things colorful and interesting. It's springtime, I need color. Everyone must participate.
What was something, first question?
And of course, enjoy the stats.
So you want to be divorced this time?
Make sure someone is challenging the status quo. And if you want to have fun, answer the questions as if you were that undergraduate with the major you talked about.
Oh. So.
You can do it as an HR today, or you can do it as, so I was talking about my theater major, right? So to shake it up, make your choices as you answer it, how you want to answer it, and have fun.
And don't look for the easy ones back there.
No, there's so easy, there's so much. Don't worry.
If you could study anywhere in the world for a semester, where would it be and why would you want to visit that place? I would choose to study in either Italy or France. I visit France absolutely. There's so much history there that can be learned, and so much to visit. This is such a vast majority of city and country and everywhere.
I know, man, I'm late.
So then everybody over Italy, and Italian, so they can't just be late. Be there.
I have family from there. And also, Australia.
Yeah, definitely.
First of all, I'd like to say,
Yeah, you have to be
I was involved, right?
So you have to, yeah.
Really anywhere.
Anywhere.
I wouldn't mind going anywhere.
Yeah, right? I lived in Humboldt College, so I commuted. I went to Canyon County College first, where I was working. And then I went to Rome University. But I lived so close to both that I just commuted. So I never went away. I never had the experience. So if I could study abroad for a semester, I would Oh, wow. Yeah, I can definitely relate to that. I felt it wasn't wrong. Everybody else was like transition.
I have no friends that live far from other states. Right now,
Okay, this says in the movie, Ready Player One, everyone referred to live in a one society and become a reality in our lifetime. There's a lot of talk about it, like Tracy. part of that right now. Everything we do is so digitized, down to local everything. There's a lot of people, my parents, they're not that old, they're 60 years old, but my dad, he has a flip phone, he never touched their computer.
The younger kids, they spend their whole time in the digital, you know, it may not be virtual reality like a movie, but they still are doing more digital.
Maybe not in our lifetime, but maybe the generation after us.
We'll probably be close to it.
Yes.
We already have the virtual reality.
We get there, it's probably going to be changed from what we know now. Because so we know remember those iPhones? Yeah. An iPhone. Back in my day, we had iPhones.
This says, I heard keep track of the business guys and who were the best guys in the movie The Black Panther. What do you think? Personally, I don't think that. What did you think?
Well, I mean, like, no. Couldn't tell if it was bad or you guys became very close.
Yeah.
And at the very end, so that's saying,
As far as the Marvel movie, what do you think, Alex? Was that like there? Some parts were too much action. I think everybody else from generation will do it.
Yeah, we can look at that.
This is why did your parents name you, and then why. So my parents named me Miranda, I believe there's something called so they really like the name. It was from a movie, where the female co-star, her name was Miranda, and Harry was what I was though. But they saw the movie, they were just close to Natalie. And then like days before I was born, they saw that movie and then they heard Miranda and they loved it. So they named Miranda.
Did you ever see that movie?
I did, but I can't remember what the name of it is.
I'm personally not sure, but I do know that the year I was born, Napoleon was very happily named in my graduating class. So there was something in Nicole that year that I don't know if Nicole was trending that year. It's not after anybody or...
For me, I was born in the very 60s. My parents named me after the doctor.
Yes. My parents thought I was going to be like Amy Williams after my great grandfather. And when I was born a girl, they had to quickly come up with an alternative. So my father took the W, turned it over, made it into N, and went to the Bible and got Miriam.
Oh my gosh! Not like it. And I always wanted my name to be
It's funny, people always swear me. I didn't like it, my name is as a kid because my soul was always kind of used to be
This says, what is your position on the National Guard to patrol the United States-Mexico border? Why do you feel that way? Yeah. I feel like we need to be protected, but we have to do it at safety. I don't really talk politics. There was a shooter at the
Yeah, I mean, yeah, for one side, yeah.
There are arguments to
Both sides. Right, I was like, it's been like a long summer. It's been warmer.
no spring and no fall. We go right from summer to winter and winter to summer. That's what I feel like. Actually, think you have to I just really was like, I had to watch it. It was crazy. It was so fun.
Which do you prefer, peanut butter ones?
Peanut butter. Peanut butter. Like by themselves, but I love having peanut So why do you have welding? You like welding? Oh, you like it in college?
I haven't really decided specific income levels.
Where the other
Right. I mean, it could work.
They last a few months and then
It's kind of like make it.
there has to be stipulations. Fail every
Right. What happens when everybody is all girls? What happens when you have a doctor and you have what? Certifications and stuff?
It's gonna be like, then there's gonna be like,
Right. That's just
My name is not to be honest. More because my parents
that's really like a mixture of like the job.
Here's the problem. Nothing to do with what I do. There's how I feel like
Okay, that's the part that will be of value to you, the takeaway. So I need to ask, Lily to step away.
Step away from the conversation.
Yeah. It was fun, wasn't it? On a different level. And this table here, they work together, and yet they're having a great time laughing and learning about each other. People who've never met are sharing information, and you're gonna remember this, right? This is fun.
Can I just chime in?
Sure.
Is this my time?
No, this is my time.
Oh.
That's okay, you can chime in, I chime in.
I just want to say, this came about because at the campus, we did a leadership series. It ran for 6 months, and we had a group of about 20 to 30 students that would come out once a month for 6 months. And one of the sessions I did with a young lady who was a business person. She owned a McDonald's franchise. And so she was one of our volunteers to come into and work with us. We brought people from the community into the series. So it wasn't just instructors or persons from the University of Phoenix. We incorporated the community. And so Lois and I did the session on intellectual curiosity, and we did a dinner party, a mock dinner party with the table set, you know, the linen, everything. Because as we were talking over here, some of our students don't get an opportunity to experience the world. Some of our students have not been to a really fancy restaurant where they had to order the pre-dinner wine, the wine with the meal, and the after-dinner drinks. And there are multiple forks and spoons and knives and cutlery and stuff on the table. So when they go out for a business meeting or a business interview, they have to be comfortable at the table, because people are looking to see how articulate they are and how they interact socially. So we set this up, and we had everything right there in the room. And one of the other things that we did, instead of having this up, I had classic pieces of artwork scrolling, and we had classical music playing in the background, because all of those things come into play sometimes. And we had a young lady who was the CFO for her company.
It was a small company.
Small
She started
company.
out as like an administrative assistant and worked her way up to a CFO.
And she was at one of the tables. And so when we were briefing out, she said, her words were, "I never speak up in meetings. I never have anything to say. But this has given me the courage to start speaking up in meetings."
Wow.
She was the chief financial officer, and she had not found her voice. No one had put her in a situation that allowed her to feel comfortable at the table and to be a part of the conversation. One of the articles I read prior to today said that although our students go into an interview and they know the technical side, the most important period is going to be from the time they get up from that table and walk to the door or to the elevator, or when they're sitting over that dinner, that lunch and interview, the interview luncheon, because they're going to have that conversation. And nothing is more awkward than walking away and not having anything to say to somebody. And you're just going, and there's that dead silence. So you want to be able to be well-rounded, and we want our students to be well-rounded so that they can fill that gap. I have two hands.
That's right. I just want to tell a story. Years ago, I worked here as in corporate training, and I had a Asian Chamber of Commerce come to me asking me, they had new people coming in, and we actually conducted training here. I used the HRI, hotel, restaurant group to do the training. And it was exactly that, which knife, which fork, which spoon. They actually, I made them design the curriculum. And it was exactly what you were saying. But then, you know what else they wanted? They wanted the men to learn how to tie an American necktie. That was like a big thing.
Absolutely.
And they wanted the women how to tie a scarf. So we did that. We even did down to dessert. And we also had to, they had to also include the art of conversation during dinner, which is a little different in different cultures, right?
Yeah.
So that was different, and then also the necktie and the scarf. So I actually ran that numerous times for that group. So it was a unique experience. I observed it the first time and found it to be great. Even how to cut meat.
Yes.
The art of cutting your meat, and I didn't know there was an art to
There's,
that.
you know, table etiquette, right? But the idea is that, and when I talk to some of my colleagues at other institutions, they all do similar things like this. And they're trying different ways of helping their students gain those experiences that we were taught by our parents. But with our busy schedules, we may be falling short in teaching our kids, right? So, we talked earlier about...
Lance has something.
Oh, I'm sorry, Lance, go on. Go on.
This is my 9th career, and I mean, really, this is my 9th career. I was a headhunter for years, and part of what I did when I was teaching K-12 and the high school students was we did interviews on how to get into college. And what I'm going to do, if we have enough time before finals, is have my freshmen, who are prospective teachers, interview to get into college. So we're going to go through that. So I'm going to bring my theater background, my communications background into the classroom because it is an art. And like you said, it's not just the technical aspect. It is from a recruiter standpoint, you have to ask for the job. From a student standpoint, you have to say, okay, I have this. What are you looking for? And how does that fit with it? And you have to ask for the job. I don't care what you're doing. You have to ask for the job. Whatever, the job could be an interview for college. The job could be looking for a job. The job could be a survey, anything. You have to ask for the job. And there are ways to do it. And thankfully, my communications background has helped me through every career I've had, whether I belonged in that career for a while or not. And why not use what I have to help them learn and use what they need?
Absolutely. And we should connect afterwards. Next week, I'm going to the Boys and Girls Club of Hudson County. They have a degree to diploma program. And I'm going there to talk to them about how to act and how to prepare for going to a college fair. So I talked to about 7 or 8 of my colleagues who do recruiting and put together this document that I'm going to go over with them of all the different points of things they should look for, questions they should ask, how they should dress. I did it last year, it was great, they asked me to come back, I'm doing it next week, I'll be happy to share it with you. Or share it with anyone. Because it really is a valuable skill.
This is your section.
Right, so earlier we talked about, as instructors, as faculty, we need to bring the world into the classroom. But not everyone is in the classroom, right? How do we as administrators, as advisors, help our students practice that and take that bridge from the classroom into the world? And that's our mock dinner party. So anyone can set up a mock dinner party on a campus, right? If you are an advisor, if you have a team of students, if you're running a club, a fraternity or a sorority, you get 10, 15, 20 people together. You can do more, but probably 15 to 20 is a good number. As you saw, having 3, 4, 5s at a table works out well, right? And set it up. Get a faculty member from different departments. Get someone from the religious studies department, someone from the biology department, someone from all different kinds of departments to be that team leader at the table because you don't always have the cards. They know how to get the conversation going and bring in topics that the students may never have thought that they could speak on. You can also get alumni who work in different industries. What you don't want to have happen is have the marketing club do a mock dinner party and all the table leaders are marketing professionals. I read a quote recently, I can't remember who wrote it, who said it, that if everyone is thinking the same, someone isn't thinking. So if everyone has the same background, you're not going to get that intellectual curiosity going on. You can create a list of sample topics. You can take the cards, I have extras if you want as samples. If that helps to get the conversation going and making it relevant. Lily and I had a lot of fun coming up with the topics. And I think we got a couple of our other colleagues to do it. There's at least 1 or 2 that my 12-year-old son gave me. Did anyone have the one about Drake and God's plan? You guys didn't get to it? Drake has his video out of God's plan. And in it, he's giving away $1 million. Cash, basically. And there's a lot of debates going on about, is he really being altruistic? Or is he trying to be more self-serving and prove that he can do it?
Both.
Again, it could be both, but the point is, it's a debate. The kids are debating it, we've debated it, we had a week-long conversation at home about it. And I don't know how you guys didn't get that question on there, because that's one of them in there. But that's the point, find something relevant that they can jump on.
Maybe it's in those cards.
Maybe.
get those cards.
Provide a real meal.
We have it.
You have it, we just didn't get to it.
Get to that one.
Okay. But provide a real meal. Something where, a buffet can work out great, but where they actually have to get up, get their food, have the conversation while they're in line getting food, not looking at their phone, right? Every moment is an opportunity for them to practice having that conversation. Have real silverware, real plates, not the throwaway stuff they get in the cafeteria. You can, you might spend a little money on this, you might get someone to donate the food, or help you pay for it. When we did it, I think we had a donation from one of the Mexican restaurants, so they had to make tacos.
Oh, that's cool. That's a good idea.
Yeah, food that they would like to eat.
Can I say something, please? Being a high school counselor working with 14, 15, 16, 17 years old, appears to me that these youngsters nowadays, they don't know how to talk to an adult.
Right.
They talk to you the way they talk to a buddy who is 15 or 16, with the slangs, with the body language. Yesterday I had a student come to my office. I couldn't understand what he was saying because he was 100 miles an hour. So could you please slow down, speak slow, and please organize your thoughts before talking to me. Because they talk by words and they think that we're getting the concept.
Right.
So I know that the formality of dinners or this activity, but we have to go beyond or before that because they are growing up, they don't know how to express themselves, how to communicate, and especially to distinguish when they talk to an adult, to peers of themselves. So I think that we have to work a lot, and we are missing a lot in education because we think that education is only about math and language, arts and sciences and those subjects. As I said before about the holistic approach of education of humanity and human beings, and we are losing that.
Right. But who is the most influential person to a student?
Peers.
Peers. When it comes to education, who is the most influential person? Who has the most influence on them?
Somebody
Teacher?
Their teacher.
The teacher?
Their teacher. Who are they trained to listen to? The teacher. Who do they spend the most time with?
Teachers are supposed to be role models to
But
them.
you can, before you have the mock dinner party, you can have a session of this is what you need to do, this is how you need to act. You need to give them that structure and tell them what the expectations are, so that when they go into that setting, they have an idea of what they're supposed to do.
But, you know, and as Mary was saying, one of the things you want to do is that when they're setting up the mock dinner party, the persons who are the leaders at the table need to know, you know what, you're going to have students at your table who's going to be talking 200 miles per hour. You're going to need to teach them to slow it down, to organize their thoughts, to think about the topics, because the topics are going to be interesting to them, so they're going to really get into it. So you want them to think about the topic, think about what they're saying, and as they're going 100 and 200 miles per hour, you're going to have to look at it and say, you know what, John, I need you to slow it down, because just think, if you're interviewing for a job this summer at Walmart, you're talking so fast, they're not going to understand you, they're not going to hire you. So I need you to slow it down. Bring them consciously into what is going on and let them know the benefit, immediate benefit of what you're doing.
And that message is going to come across differently if they're around the dinner table with food and with their colleague, their peers. Right?
Yeah.
I just had another idea. If you don't want to do it on the campus, you might be able to get a local restaurant to donate the food and the space and take the kids there and do it in a restaurant. Especially with the K-12 schools that might not have the ability to do a dinner party like the colleges.
Addison, I know exactly what you're talking about, because my 18-year-old, when she starts talking, she goes, and it just runs all
It
together.
drives you up the wall.
It drives me, and I don't understand a word that she's saying, but I have to bring her back. And then when I bring her back and I calm her down and I get her to focus, I said, okay, now I understand what you're saying. Now I can help you.
Now I can listen to you. Because that's what they want, is for us to listen to them.
So we have 5 minutes.
Right. So here is a timeline. Figure about an hour and a half, maybe 2 hours. A little 15 minutes for introduction, 15 minutes for them to get their food and settle down into their seats. 30 minutes for the discussion over the dinner or the meal. And then afterwards, have a debriefing Have that conversation with them. What did you learn? What did you hear? How did it feel? What will you do differently the next time you are sitting around the table talking to people? Or standing in line at the restaurant waiting to get your order, right? What can you do with this information? Just like we talked about Beverly. Beverly was, our classic case of, I never spoke up at the table, and yet I'm in a position where people want to listen to me. They trust me. They value me as a coworker and a colleague. They would never have promoted me if they didn't see something in me that I don't see, and now I see it. So you need to have that conversation afterwards, the conversation before to prepare, and that debriefing afterwards. As well as how to transfer those skills to the job, to talking with professors, to talking with adults, talking with employers, coworkers, and even their peers. Any questions? That's one question I haven't asked.
You said this is on a website or?
I'm going to give it to Christine, and she's going to post it on the website.
Great, okay, cool.
So we have like 3 minutes, so
Let me just give you another suggestion. As you're interacting with the students, especially if you're in the classroom or you're a counselor, make sure that you put interesting newspapers and magazines in there and encourage them to pick them up and flip through them, because it's going to be, you'll be amazed at what they will learn just by reading stuff in your office. So when I teach, I always have the Wall Street Journal, and I put it on the table, and I encourage them to sit and just kind of glance through the Wall Street Journal. There's a more in-depth exercise that I do with some of my classes, but if it's not something that I'm using in the class, I will let them read that information, because a lot of people don't even pick up the Wall Street Journal. They don't even look at it online. And for me, being, I teach in the School of Business, how can you be a business student or in a business class and not know what's happening through the journal or through
and your students are also in their capstone class, so 4th year capstone class.
But you want them to
I use
read.
the Star Ledger.
Encourage them to read. Just pick it up.
The sports book. And sometimes you just pull articles out and say, you know what, we talked about something last week. Here, I found an article for you to read. So you thought of me after we had a meeting?
I do that, that's.
Yes.
Quickly.
Yes.
Any takeaways from today's session? Did you guys learn anything or anything that you can incorporate? What are your thoughts about the mock dinner party?
The big takeaway I get is it can get students engaged on just having conversations not only with their peers, but also the people that are trying to guide them in their future endeavors. So it definitely can be an icebreaker, something you can use in like their first semester at the college. So I definitely got a good takeaway.
Oh, good. Good.
Thank you.
Anyone else with a big takeaway?
Just the whole concept of doing this with students and encouraging them to talk. And like you said, even when they're in line getting food, it's another opportunity. And so pointing out those opportunities for maybe the quick, meaningful small talk or just having some type of being able to off the cuff have conversation.
Just have a couple of those questions in hand. One of my favorite is, how did you get your name? Why did your parents name you? That's a fun one, right?
Anything else as a takeaway?
Conversation can be very fun and stimulating.
Yes, fun and stimulating. You want to do it more, right? You hate when I said stop.
We as human beings, people, we are the experiences, our background, our knowledge. So when you talk to somebody, they open a new book and you read that.
Great analogy.
Jennifer has something to say.
Yes, Jennifer.
What I wanted to say is that I feel like a lot of our students are scared to be themselves and talk to people that are in certain positions. So I feel like this is an opportunity to bring in faculty, staff, so they can get to know them and understand they're humans too.
Yes.
And kind of like, it is like an icebreaker for the students. So I think I would be able to take this.
Thank you. All right, so this will be up there. You'll have our contact information.
What's the website?
Well, the conference is going to put the presentation up. This conference, Christine Harrison and her group. So it'll go. I'll send it to her tomorrow.
Oh, I see.
She'll post it. Okay, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.